So Final Fantasy 15, eh?
Yep. I hope you put the awkward silence in there before everything.
I was going to say, well, before you said that, I was going to be like, so Nathan's laughing because we just stared at our timer for the 5-second countdown in just complete silence.
Oh, man. Okay.
So Final Fantasy 15, this is demo, right?
This is the demo for Final Fantasy 15. It's called episode Duscae or something like that. I don't know.
Duscae.
I suppose if you're like typical like American is Duscae.
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 TM.
So anyway, I gotta stop like moving around. Anyway, habit. So Final Fantasy, excited. For different reasons than normal. I like a lot of people would like. I grew up on Final Fantasy. 6 is the best. Don't argue with me. 6 is the best. Well, 6 is I'm sorry. 6 is the best. In the main line, Tactics is actually the best.
Yeah, and you and I come from very, very different sides of the coin.
Absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, I like Final Fantasy, but I started at 10, so you grew up with it.
10's a good one. You know what? 10's a good one.
I came in really late, and honestly, my opinion is still that I think 10 is the best, but I have yet to play 6, so it can be swayed still.
You played like 2 Final Fantasies, so like between the two, yeah.
I played the first, I played 7, sort of. And I played 10, and 10-2 doesn't count as a Final Fantasy game.
It doesn't. No, that's not even a game. That never happened.
I think there were a couple of others in there that I played too. It was my goal to play all of them until I was like, nope, this is a lot of time.
So ever since 10, I feel like they really went down the drain personally. And
no, I'm actually right there with you. I
didn't get to play a lot of 12. The world interested me and everything. I just didn't play a lot. What I did play, I wasn't too happy with. But anyway, 15 came out. I saw trailers for it, and I was like, you know what? Square Enix, by now, they're really bad at RPGs for the most part. But I'm sorry, it's true. What they
totally
used to
true.
excel in, they're no longer good at. But you know what they are good at? Action games. And Final Fantasy 15, even though it's an RPG, it has a lot of action elements. And so I decided to take a look at it, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. So we're gonna play the demo together, and I'm gonna tell you why the opening scene is amazeballs.
Amazeballs. Yeah, Nathan warned me before we started. He was like, so we actually need to listen to this. So I'm curious to see.
So right there, beginning like scene, what does it do? It's showing a guy drinking coffee. What does that mean? It means that he's a human being. I just want to point that out.
No, actually, I like that. It's strange because it almost looks like it could be a commercial for a car.
It's a car commercial?
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, it probably is.
I mean, Nintendo's been doing shit like that with Mercedes and fucking Mario Kart. I wouldn't be surprised to see this weird merging of worlds in you know...
You know, if they really wanted to just, like, advertise Mercedes, all they had to do was, like, show Miyamoto driving around in a Mercedes being, like, really happy like he always is.
Dude,
and that would be it. Everybody'd be like, fucking one Mercedes.
Did you see the commercials for the Mercedes stuff with Mario Kart?
Oh, no, I didn't, no.
Oh, they were fucking weird, dude. It was like real-life Mario, but, like, they gave him ridiculous proportions. Like, they gave him the giant nose, and they basically did that. They had a Mercedes, like, this, like... crazy like zoom in shot of a Mercedes speeding and stopping and skidding, and the door opens and a big brown boot and jeans steps out, and then you look up and you see like this fucking burly Mario with this giant red nose, and he's like, "How you gonna get out?" Because it was only in Japanese, so I have no idea what they said, but
it was good.
It was amazing. They did that with a couple of characters. All right, is this the point I should shut up?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna listen to this. Japanese really like blonde-haired people too, by the way.
Yep.
I never understood it.
I know a lot of people keep calling him Cloud Zidel because he is Cloud and Zidel from Final Fantasy VIII, so he's just like two different characters just meshed into one. But he's not, but he looks like it.
Yeah. I'm not at all surprised. They have their aesthetic, so it was bound to happen sometime.
If only somebody hadn't wrecked the car. God, unbelievable.
Oh, I would hate to be that guy. Oh, come on, don't be that way. You know I didn't mean to do it.
Of course not.
Sabotage is far beyond you.
I already like their dynamic. Oh God, who just leaves their alarm going?
It's futile.
That's why it's so great.
Rise and shine,
The whole time
princess.
you have to pay attention because you fucking
Tremors.
hate that alarm.
Yeah,
Now you
seriously.
did it.
Just call me Titan.
So this guy isn't. So they not necessarily
Morning
have
there,
been
buddy.
together this whole time.
No, I
Eyes
don't know
open.
exactly what their relationship is in
And
terms
he's
of
up.
length, time span.
Not technically up.
Not technically having our automobile repaired and heading to Corthus, then?
No turning back now, Your Highness. Gotta pay his enormousness a visit.
Enormousness.
Wonder what it's like outside.
Interesting.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I know. It's pretty much what's going through my head. Sounds silly,
Couldn't
but it
ask
also
for
sounds
better
important.
weather.
Ah, good day for walking. Aren't we lucky?
I love him.
Yeah,
His dry humor makes he makes it.
yeah. So far, I'm a fan too.
And then of course they have to blow your mind. So
Oh, of course. Strangely enough, while it is absolutely beautiful, you do kind of notice that the frame rate drops a very little bit.
yep.
But that's okay. Like,
No, you definitely do. And then you kind of look at the plans and you're like,
We're well
could use a little more
short of the
texture.
amount due, I'm afraid.
We need to think bigger, like behemoth big.
Hunting down its horns could get us the money if it doesn't get us killed.
Wouldn't worry. We're as good as dead without the car anyway.
Might already be a lost cause.
Hey, if Cindy says she can fix it, that's good enough for me.
And since she's gone to all the trouble of servicing it nearby, we need only concern ourselves with one thing and one thing alone.
The money.
Simple enough. We hawk whatever we hunt till we come up with the cash, then fetch the car.
the big guy, Titan, I think he said his name was.
No, well, he was being sarcastic
Oh,
because there was an earthquake, and he's like, "Call me Titan," because that's
a monster.
it's a summon from the older games. Like you would summon Titan, and he'd make an earthquake.
Oh, he was a specific summon.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
that was his name was actually Titan.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, that guy, the big burly dude, reminds me of Cujo if Cujo were cool. He's got the hair and everything.
So right off the bat, they're like, "Hey, yeah, here's your quest." Oh, by the way, I have already played through the demo, but I haven't played through
The update?
The update, so I already know that there's a few things that are completely new to me. So yeah.
Yeah.
So they do have kind of the problem of like, this is your waypoint. This is where you want to go. Don't bother exploring. that is kind of an issue.
It's better than a fucking trail of breadcrumbs like Fable does.
Yes. I mean, the other thing too is this is actually an objective point. Like you can take that off, and then
you guys
you
see
don't have
what
to
I
have an
see?
objective point on the map at all.
You mean like just in the settings?
Yeah. Not in the settings. It's like in the map. You go to map and you're like, oh, set objective, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna go there. But like you don't have to do that,
okay.
so it does allow you to move around. I mean, that's not too uncommon nowadays.
Well, I mean, I guess my question is the point of this design focused on exploration? Or do
So
they want you to
far-
go point to point right now?
So far, they want you to go point to point, I believe.
But it will probably change?
Almost. I mean, if it's like a traditional Final Fantasy, yes. But if it's anything
yeah.
like 13, then it's garbage, and it should have stopped before the first one was made.
Yeah. Okay.
I
It's-
hope you heard me.
I was going to say, too, if they wanted to make it more exploration focused, I would say actually having a mini map with the objective points displayed there would probably work better toward encouraging the exploration. Because I agree, if you see an objective point on the screen at all times, it's pretty hard to ignore it.
This is kind of an awkward translation in this section because, like, you're like, oh, here's you find this behemoth. His name is Deadeye or whatever it is. I think it's Deadeye. I don't remember. Anyway, and
But
then
it's
then
combat tutorial.
yeah, and then your friend's like, "Wait up a second." You're like, "What?" And he's combat. What? So it's gonna teach you how to fight.
All out. Just don't get too carried away.
You don't want to talk.
The other cool part about this is how the characters talk back and forth when fighting.
Oh, okay.
You get to hear like sarcastic banter back and forth all the time.
That's actually a nice bit of flavor. I'm curious to see how well they do it. I guess they could have done that in some of the older games, which I'm sure they did in older games to an extent. I can think of a few moments in 10
I don't.
where they did things like that, but it wasn't frequent.
Yes, in this one, at one point, like if your characters go down, you like walk up and like revive them, and I'll get into like what like the design of that, but for now I'll just mention you can revive them, and like they'll have like certain things. They'll be like, hey, you get up on your feet, and I'll be like, oh, thanks, I thought I was a goner. But at one point, one of the characters like looks at him and goes, ugh, I owe you one. And I was the main character. I revived him, and I was like, "You owe me one." Like, that's I owe you
beautiful.
one. You owe me one. Oh my! What is that?
They sort of set that precedence at the very beginning with that cutscene, though, that they kind of have that relationship where there's a lot of back and forth banter.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. It's not only consistent, but it's actually kind of fun. Oh.
So whenever you're attacked, as long as you're holding the L1, you just dodge.
Oh, that's kind of
but
cool.
while
Do
you're-
you run out of like dodge ability?
While you're dodging it, while you're holding the button, it costs MP.
Oh,
This game is a
really?
constant. Yeah, this game is a constant flux of
Managing your MP.
managing MP. Like it will just go up and down.
Now,
Just-
does it? So okay, it does recharge during combat.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's an important distinction, because if it only reduced during combat, then it would be
Yeah.
a very like you
Yeah.
have to time everything perfectly.
Absolutely. Yeah, so in this one, it's not so much about management as it is...
You mean not so much timing as it is management?
yeah, I guess that's... Yeah, not so much timing as it is management, and you don't really have to rely on your resources and pool them. Like, if you're doing that, you're probably playing the game wrong. It's not like a traditional old Final Fantasy where it's like, I only have so much hit points, or MP. That's not a problem.
It's fitting for an action game, though. I mean, if it were turn-based like a lot of the older Final Fantasies, it would make a lot more sense.
So, my character makes weapons appear from his hand.
Oh, it's interesting. Is that like his thing, or
That's only his thing, and he is the prince. Because they say at the beginning, Your Highness, and they call him Your Highness throughout most of it. Yeah.
So it's not just like
I don't think it's like something that everybody can do. He just like, and his whole special thing is making different types of weapons appear in his hand.
That's as far as abilities go, that is one of the more interesting things that I've heard in a while. I mean, I guess they don't really explain how he does it, but like generally anytime I've seen it, it's a what would you call it? A conjuration. Shit like Skyrim, where you can conjure a weapon, but it's a weapon that's purely magic. These don't really look like that. They look like they kind of have more.
It's very technological.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
So I don't know if it's like.
Whoa. Okay, so he can do it to himself too, sort of.
Yeah, he can throw the sword and then he can teleport to the sword.
That's a really powerful ability.
Yeah, that's kind of why it's like, well, I could understand why they only make you ever play him and no one else, because why the hell would you play anyone else?
Yeah, really.
It's like, I can summon... I don't care. I'm going to teleport behind your summon. I don't...
Later.
I can use black magic. I do not care. I just want you to know that. So, then you can teleport, attack things, which is what I just did there. I don't have to be attached to so right there, what I like it also when you're attacking, it's kind of like what's the word I was looking for? It's kind of like a like Devil May Cry or any of those other fast action games. Like if you're getting too zealous when you're attacking, you stop paying attention and they will hit you while you're doing that. So you have to know when to stop attacking in order to be able to dodge in time.
Okay, so when you initiate an attack, you can't just stop mid-swipe.
Yes, exactly.
That actually, okay, I have mixed feelings on that, and I understand both sides of allowing it and not allowing, just to end your action early to dodge. But that was my primary issue with Dark Souls. Is that, and to be fair, Dark Souls is much, much slower paced than this. So when you initiate an action and it takes, a full second to 2 seconds to complete your action, that leaves a huge window to get damaged. And so it means you have to play very slowly and carefully. Hyrule Warriors, on the other hand, really spoiled me because I think their controls are just fluid as fuck.
Well, yeah, but those are actually meant to be very reactive games. It's actually the same problem that I had with playing, what did we just play? Mercenary Kings.
Oh,
Mercenary Kings, to me, for that type of game, felt very sluggish.
That's fair. That was a little bit more in the movements than the actual attacks, I think, though.
That's true. Well, I actually even fired slower, which meant that you wouldn't kill enemies when you thought you would.
Yeah, okay, that's true. I will give you that. I guess when it comes to an action game, I just prefer a little bit more control rather than less. And there are design reasons to go either way. And in the instance of Dark Souls, I actually wouldn't argue that they should take that out. I would just say they should speed it up a little bit to balance it out.
Understandable, yeah. No, it's, I think as you hit a degree of mastery in the game, it might not be a problem, but I'm not really sure. Obviously I don't have that degree of mastery, so I can't really tell you if you can learn to predict movement and react that well.
That's fair. I know we're over time, but should we finish this tutorial? How much longer is it?
I don't remember.
I'd like to at least get through the tutorial so that we don't have to pick it up in the next episode. And I'm sure anyone watching would appreciate that too.
So if you're guarding and they do like some special attack like you just did, they basically open themselves up, but at the same time you don't want to get hit by those moves because they'll do more damage. So so like it showed that symbol, and it's basically letting me know if I guard that, right after that I can press square and then do a counterattack.
Ah, very cool. So as far as action games go, do you feel that they're doing anything that's particularly different than most games that are like this? I mean, the movement in the attacking seems a little bit more of its own thing. I really like the parrying and counterattacks, but that's not, totally unique either.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say. The teleportation allows it to feel somewhat different, but you're right. The weapon changing in combat is really the only thing that sets this character apart from, your oh my, what just happened?
And you can teleport on command, as long as there's something to throw your sword into, right?
And as long as you have the MP for it.
That's kind of cool, actually. So, okay, that does sort of switch it up a bit. It makes me wonder how much it really does, though, other than, I guess if you're fighting a really large monster, it would allow you to get to its weak point a little bit, or just in general, it would allow you to get to its weak point. So if they were creative with the monster design, it could be cool. With this fight with this dude here, I don't really see much benefit in teleporting, because it's just like, oh, I'm getting away.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it would be kind of unfair to be like, aha, all right, I'm going to teach you how to fight, and your character just teleports away. It's like, no, Highness, come back. I actually need to teach you how to fight. Nah. Sitting on top of the tower.
That's totally fair. Well, I do hope that they utilize that mechanic in some of the battles in this demo, because if they don't, I feel like they failed as far as demos are concerned.
They do a little bit. I wish that they did actually use it a little bit more than they do.
But, maybe the update has something in store that you haven't seen yet.
It's very possible. Very possible. All right, well.
Cool. Well, that was the tutorial. We're going to do at least maybe a couple, depending on how long the demo is, but, we're going to complete the demo, so.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
We should do that next time. In the archives.
Yeah, so stay tuned for more, guys.
I'm mostly happy with it so far. I've already I saw, it was a couple days after I'd finished it, Cujo was like, he came over for a game. He's like, "Can I play?" And I was like, "Yeah." I mean, I was trying to get together with Cujo for like a week, trying to play it, but I was just never free. So I was like, "Yeah, go ahead and play it." And he was like, "Yeah, apparently they just had an update." And I was like, "What? For a demo? What?"
I know! As soon as you said that, I was like, wait, that's a thing that people do?
Yeah, I blew me away. I was like, I'm almost surprised they didn't just come out with like a new episode